สวัสดีครับ Thank you for joining us for the midday edition of NBT World Brief ยอร์กมีสุรพันธ์เหล่าธารนาริศ Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul has arrived in Hanoi to begin a two-day official visit aimed at strengthening cooperation between Thailand and Vietnam in trade, investment and regional affairs. Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul and his delegation arrived at Noi Bai International Airport in Hanoi this morning, where they were welcomed by Vietnam's Minister of Ethnic and Religious Affairs, YUAN, serving as minister in attendance. The Prime Minister began his program immediately upon arrival, meeting Thai business leaders operating in Vietnam and witnessing the exchange of cooperation agreements between private sector representatives from both countries. He is also scheduled to meet Vietnamese business executives to discuss opportunities for expanding economic cooperation and investment. Later in the day, Mr. Anutin will hold talks with Vietnam's senior leaders as part of his official visit, with both sides expected to explore ways to deepen bilateral ties across a range of sectors. In the afternoon, the Prime Minister will lay wreaths at the Bac Son Monument and the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. This will be followed by an official welcoming ceremony at the Vietnamese government headquarters and a full bilateral meeting between the two sides. The Prime Minister will then pay a courtesy call on the President of the National Assembly of Vietnam before attending an official dinner hosted by the Prime Minister of Vietnam in honor of the Prime Minister of Thailand. On Tuesday, the Prime Minister will attend the opening of the third ASEAN Future Forum, or AFF, and participate in the Thailand-Vietnam Investment and Business Forum. He'll also meet with leading Vietnamese businesses to promote trade, investment, and economic cooperation between the two countries. The industry minister has ordered officials to explain the decision that allowed YUAN Steel to resume operations, while stressing the need to reassure the public about the safety of steel products. Industry Minister Warawut Silapa Acha says the decision by the Department of Industrial Works to allow YUAN Steel Company to restart steel bar production complies with the Factory Act of 1992. The company was permitted to resume operations after addressing deficiencies identified by authorities following its closure last year. However, concerns remain among members of the public and 10 steel trade associations, which have questioned the approval process and the basis for allowing the company to reopen. Minister Warawut says he has instructed the Permanent Secretary of the Industry Ministry to provide a full explanation of the approval procedures. He says the goal is to ensure consumers can trust the safety and quality of steel products available on the market, adding that he will review the ministry's progress on these measures upon returning from an official visit to Vietnam.
ผมจึงได้ขอให้ทางท่านปลัดกระทรวงนะครับและทางกระทรวงอุตสาหกรรมนั้นได้มีการชี้แจงเพิ่มเติมในรายละเอียดนะครับว่ากระบวนการดำเนินการนั้นดำเนินการไปอย่างไรบ้างนะครับแล้วก็มีมาตรการอย่างไรโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งความปลอดภัยของพี่น้องประชาชนในการที่จะใช้ผลิตภัณฑ์เหล็กไม่ว่าจะเป็นจากเทคโนโลยีใดก็แล้วแต่นะครับผมได้กำชับให้ทางกระทรวงนั้นเร่งออกมาตรการรวมถึงคู่มือแนะนำการใช้นะครับเหล็กในเรียกที่มาจากกระบวนการผลิตในแบบต่างๆเพื่อให้เกิดความมั่นใจของพี่น้องประชาชนซึ่งเดี๋ยวกลับมาจากเวียดนามนะครับผมก็จะได้ติดตามจากทางกระทรวงอีกครั้งหนึ่งว่าได้ดำเนินการไปถึงไหนแล้วอย่างไรนะครับ
Thailand's central bank says the economy is expected to grow by around 2% this year, supported by the government's large-scale stimulus measures, despite mounting pressure from higher energy prices linked to tensions in the Middle East. Bank of Thailand Governor Vitai Rattanakon says conflict in the Middle East will weigh on Thailand's economy, but the government's 400 billion baht emergency borrowing package is expected to help offset the impact. The package includes 200 billion baht for economic relief and 220 billion baht for energy transition projects. As a result, the central bank expects the economy to grow by up to 2% this year, driven mainly by private consumption, with household spending projected to rise from 1.6 to 2.6%. Inflation is expected to increase due to higher energy import costs, with average headline inflation forecast at 3% this year. Monthly inflation could peak at around 5% in October before easing. The central bank views the inflation surge as temporary and expects it to fall to 1.4% next year as energy prices and geopolitical tensions ease. It is therefore likely to keep interest rates unchanged. Thailand posted a current account deficit of $7.6 billion in April, largely due to increased oil imports. The Bank of Thailand says the deficit is temporary and expects the balance to return to surplus next year, supported by export growth of 12 to 13%. Officials add that the deficit also reflects stronger private investment and foreign direct investment, helping expand the country's long-term productive capacity. The International School Bangkok has marked its 75th anniversary with a charity concert aimed at expanding educational opportunities for underprivileged students across Thailand. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Commerce Suphaji Suthampan attended the Harmony for Hope charity concert at the ISB Theatre on Sunday. The event was organized to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the International School Bangkok, or ISB, while raising funds to support educational access for disadvantaged youth. The evening brought together leading figures from both the public and private sectors and featured performances by award-winning ISB students as well as special guest artist Lydia Saranrat-Dean. The audience also enjoyed world-class a cappella from Harvard University groups, the Harvard Crocodilos, and the Radcliffe Pitches. In addition to the concert, ISB partnered with Kula and its parent-student network to host an art exhibition and silent auction to support fundraising efforts. The initiative aims to raise 2 million baht to fund scholarships for 75 students through the iCare Thailand Foundation, who are at high risk of dropping out due to financial hardship. All proceeds from ticket sales and donations will go directly toward these scholarships, supporting pathways to education and future opportunities. The evening reflected ISB's 75-year legacy of fostering learning, community engagement, and social impact, while helping empower the next generation. A famous GI-certified fruit from southern Thailand is now in season. Farmers in Phang Nga are welcoming visitors to enjoy fresh mangosteens straight from the orchard as this year's harvest gets underway. At a durian orchard in Kapong district of Phang Nga province, farmers are harvesting the well-known Mangkut Thip Phang Nga or Thip Phang Nga mangosteen, a fruit recognized with geographical indication or GI status for its unique local characteristics. Orchard owner Bunrat Nuan says the area was once used for rubber plantations. But after rubber prices declined, he switched to growing fruit trees, better suited to the region's terrain. The orchard's sloping landscape and well-drained soil help prevent excess moisture during the rainy season, producing mangosteens known for their high quality and distinctive flavor. The fruit is grown using natural cultivation methods, with farmers focusing on pruning and tree care, while allowing nature to play a major role in the growing process. Locals say the fruit is so naturally nurtured that it is as if it is cared for by angels, inspiring the name Tip, which means heavenly or divine. The mangosteen is distinguished by its reddish-brown patterned rind and white flesh, offering a signature sweet and tangy taste that growers say is unique to Phang Nga.
มังคุดทิพย์ของพังงาซึ่งมีลักษณะเด่นแตกต่างจากที่อื่นก็คือลูกใหญ่แล้วก็ผิวลายที่ผิวลายนี้เพราะว่าเราไม่ใช้สารเคมี ซึ่งเป็นนิยมของผู้บริโภคซึ่งข้างในก็เป็นเนื้อขาวไม่ฉ่ำน้ำรสหวานอมเปรี้ยวนิดหน่อยก็ขอฝากผู้ที่สนใจจะเข้ามาที่สวนมังคุดผิงก็ทางสวนตอนนี้ยังมีมังคุดอยู่ก็คาดว่าจะหมดประมาณปลายเดือนมิถุนายนนี้นะครับ
The harvest season typically runs from late April through June, and this year's crop has already begun reaching the market. Farmers say GI certification has helped increase the fruit's value and strengthen consumer confidence, while also providing a source of pride and income for local families. And that is it for our midday news report. You can stay updated with the latest developments and more stories by simply scanning the QR code on your screen to access our full coverage across all media platforms. Until next time, สวัสดีครับ